Now we're doing chapter 10. You see, what I want you to always have is also, I like to write it. I'm going to show you, I wrote it somewhere at the top. I'm going to put it right now. You know you've got 9 topics. So it's going to be like what? Algebra, and then you have logarithm and exponential functions. So we can say log and exponential functions. Then you have trig. Okay, that's the next topic, like this. You have then you have differentiation as your topic number 4. Then you have integration as your topic number 5. Then you have numerical solutions, numerical solutions, okay, as your topic number 6. Then you have what? Vectors as your topic number 7. Then you have differential equations, so differential equations as your topic number 8, and then finally you have complex numbers as your topic number 9. So look at how nice and easy your P3 is. I don't want you to I don't want you to think it's easy. Respect it. You have to respect it for you to do well, but I don't want you to overhype it at the same time. I want you to work so hard knowing that just a little bit of work, a little bit of concentration, determination, you can get there. So here are the 9 topics. So what I want you to do is every time as we are going through it, we are learning to see, okay, in this topic, what are the popular questions, okay? We are giving ourselves as much experience as we can. So here we have a topic which is asking us to express a function in partial fractions, right? This is obviously from algebra. So you're already saying that in algebra, they love to ask about partializing fractions. So there we go. Let's see what it is. Here it is. We've been given a function we're asked to express in partial fractions. What is that? What is partial fractions all about? It is all about separating denominators. We want to separate, we have 2 denominators that are multiplying each other. We want to have something over the first, denominator, which is 1 plus x. Then we want to have something over the second denominator, which is 4 plus x squared. That's what we want to do. We want to separate them. So partial fractions is all about denominators. And our job is now to find what will be A and what will be B. It does not talk about numerators. Numerators, we use them with the numerator, we're going to use it to find A and B. But then we want to separate the denominator. Now, here's what you do. We have cases. And the cases tell you how you separate different types of denominators, okay? How you separate different type of denominators, and that is what we're going to do. We are going to look at the denominator. When we are solving a partial fraction, we look at the denominator, and it tells us what to write in the first line. Because we need to know what to write in the first line, then from then on, we can start to solve, to look for A and B. But the first thing is we have to know what to write in the first line, what the thing gives us when we partialize, and that is, we get it from analyzing denominators. So we want to analyze the denominator. So let's work with that. So here I have this thing. Now, here are the cases. Only 3 cases of denominators. You are looking at the denominator. You don't care about the numerator. The numerator doesn't change anything. So let's say this is the first one. You are going to have, the first one is when you have distinct linear factors and you're supposed to factorize. So you'll be having some function, h of x. You don't care what is at the top. And it will be over something like what we have here. So it is actually something plus x. So we can say a plus x, okay? Then here you could have b plus x again. So it is 2 numbers. And when you are partializing this, when you are separating this type of a thing, your first line is going to be what I'm writing right now. It changes to be a over a plus x plus a single letter b over the number b plus x. Okay, this one will be some number. Remember that. Okay, you put a letter and some letter. This small a and small b are actually numbers. So for example, this could be a 3. So let's say you have, e.g., you have something h of x over, let's say 3 plus x times 2 plus x. What would you get here? Or times 2 minus x. What would you get here? You would get this as a over 3 plus x plus b over 2 minus x. This is what we have on our first line. This is what we have on our first line. This is what happens in partial fractions for case 1. You have distinct linear factors. What is a linear factor? If you look inside the bracket, the highest power of x inside the bracket is 1. So we call that a linear factor. You understand? So here we have a linear factor. Here we have another linear factor. So, and they're different, so they are distinct, and this is what we get. Now, for case 2, you could have what we call repeated linear factors. You can have a repeated linear factor or factors. How do I do with this? When I have a repeated linear factor, how do I write the first line? Right now, what you're being taught to do is to write the first line. Then from there, you are going to look for A and look for B. We would have done the job. Partial fractions is on separation of the denominator. Now we are talking about repeated linear factors now. What would we have? What would we be having? We now have some function. We can call it g of x. We don't understand. We don't care, Now we could have a plus x as the first one, which everybody knows that this is a linear factor. Now we could have another one, which would now say b plus x, and it could be to the power of 7 or to the power of some other number. Well, we usually have to the power of 3 going up and stuff like that. So it could be to the power of 2 or to the power of 3. For this, we would now say this is going to be, we will obviously put a over the first factor. So we'll put some letter a over a plus x. Then plus, we'll put some letter b over the second one, which is b plus x. Then we'll put some letter c over the second, which is b plus x all squared. Then we'll put some letter d over the third one, which is b plus x all cubed. This is going to be the thing. So for what you must know, what are you learning? For a repeated linear factor, you are going to put it from the power of 1 all the way till you get to the power which is outside. Okay? But you'll be putting only one letter. And now our job will now be to find the A, the B, the C, and the D. That is now what our job will be. This is called a repeated linear factor. Are you understanding? Now we could have the third case, which will be called a quadratic factor. Quadratic factor. Right. Now, how do we separate this? What would we be having? Let's say you have a linear factor, okay? It'll be, let's say, f of x, some function, over a linear factor a minus x. But this one is going to multiply another one, which is b plus x squared, okay? Now, this is we have a linear factor here. So when we are changing this, it will be some letter a over a minus x. But then when we get to this one, you look inside the bracket, inside the bracket, and you see that the highest power of x is now 2. This makes this a quadratic factor. A quadratic factor is something that's quadratic as the highest power of 2. And if it's a factor, that means the highest power of 2 will be inside the bracket. So what does this now get to be? Are we just going to put b over b plus x squared like this? No. For when you have a quadratic, you actually put 2 letters. The first one will have an x, then the second one will just be a constant. So this is what happens. So it will be bx plus c or cx plus d or ax plus b, depending on where the quadratic factor is. That is what happens. And then your job is now to find the quadratic, to find the a, the b, and the c. That's what your job will be now. So here are the 3 cases, and that is what we'll be doing. If you want to be saying, you could be saying, let's say for this one, let's say you had, for this one, we would say, even if I put whatever, I don't care what is on the top. I'm not putting anything, because don't you look at the top. No! For the first line, you won't. Let's say you have here 7 minus x, and this is multiplying 3 plus x squared. Now, when I'm partializing, what will I be? I'll have a over 7 minus x. Then plus this would be now bx plus c. Okay? bx plus c over 3 plus x squared. Why? It's a quadratic factor. People, it's a quadratic factor. So it needs to have these 2 letters. Could have been cx plus d. It could be anything. And that is what you do for these ones. Please, I hope you've seen for distinct, it's nice and easy. For repeated, remember to grow with the power until you get to the power which they're saying. Then for distinct, remember you stand with it. Then for the quadratic, you'd put 2 letters. This is going to be the cases for partial fractions. Now we are going to see the case which we have. We're going to to write up the first line. From there, our job is now just to find the missing letters. The capital A, the capital B, the capital C. That is where our job would be. Then we can do it. And that is what we're going to do in the next video. Goodbye for now. I'm going to hold this here for the sake of time, and then I'm going to come back in the next video, and we're going to continue, and we're going to continue fast. Goodbye.